Right, here we have the Mini Maxx with its fancy new body, but we're going for some extreme upgrading today because I've already put in a short. We got the Wide Max kit, but also I've managed to get other parts. Where we got the new body for Father's Day, we've got a skid set to go on because of how lovely condition the original is in, chewed to pieces. Hopefully it helps a little bit. We got new shock absorbers because we've got that cap that keeps popping off, so we've got some GPM which gives you choices of springs, which is really good. And then the final upgrade is the centre diff. We've got a centre diff, so that replaces that slightly worn cog, but to fit it, new drive shaft, so we went a little bit more for the alloy one, weren't worth mucking around, and a gear for the gearbox where we've got to change that part over so this will all fit. Now if you're buying a Mini Maxx, in a sense buy an XRT, because for what I've paid for the wide, the differential set and the roof sliders is about the price difference as what you will pay for an XRT, the Mini XRT, and on that you'll get a better radio and you'll get the VLX brushless system. Admittedly it overheats, but I think just changing a pinion to lower the gearing a bit to drop the temperatures is a lot cheaper than all this just to get it to run a lot nicer. So first things first, I'm going to get it partly stripped and we'll go into fitting the parts. There we go, we got the car stripped out. You can see the difference where we've got to change this piece over. So it means a full strip down of the rear, which is an absolute nuisance, I'll be truthful. More than what you really want to do. But it's got to be done. So let's get on with that. Like I said, you can see the full difference now between the two. It should be the same gearing. That's one thing I didn't check. Yeah, 47 and a 47, so there's no trouble with pinion alignment or anything like that, it will just line up. Now good, the gear's in, so we're going to slip the new assembly in. We've transferred the bearing, so this should just literally go into place. That's the theory. Yep, that's a good fit. Now we're going to put the motor on and check pinion alignment. From something observed on the XRT, I know why these are noisy. These are a tight fit on their settings. Their holes are off because the XRT, they've been putting it one hole bigger on the motor to make it run a bit looser. This is not too tight, but it's just a touch tighter than it really I like a, you know, you can just feel it touching. That's why these are noisy. It's because they're touching. But it all lines up exactly the same. So now we've just got to rebuild the rear suspension with all the new parts and some of the old. So we've got the box of lovely parts. Got steering, arms, more arms, drive shaft bits on the floor, two lots of instructions. So what have we got in instructions then? This is for the front. a whole lot of parts later. There's the shocks. I've gone with gold for now, see what they're like. It's going to take some tuning because I can't remember which was the toughest springs, whether it's the gold or the silver. I think it's the gold, but they might need a bit more winding up yet. But I think from this angle you might be able to see. You can see there's a nice difference in width. I know it's only 10mm on an axle, but 10mm on an axle is quite a bit. Now, starting on the front, we will get it all stripped down and do the steering links inners first while we've got it stripped down, because they're more awkward to get to. Again, I'm going to speed it up because I'm not going to bore you with that, as I said. But we're going to need this bag, and we're going to need the links. there we go, all upgraded. Seem to sit a little bit higher. Might need a bit more preload on the rear yet, but like I said, we've got the adjustability. If not, I'll put the heavier springs on it, but I can't remember which were the heaviest. They've all got a different spring rate. I know the black was the weakest. Now, time to have a good tidy up before we refit the body with the skid kit. And let's see how that goes together. But tidy up time first. Now, one quick clean up later, we can open up the skids. We've got a pack of screws and we've got a template. Now the template we're going to have to cut out, and it says top of the windshield, and then you've got it to line up, and then the rear, that lines up with the existing bed holes, it says. I don't know if this is already cut out. That looks like, oh, these might be cut out. Oh, we could be good here. Sometimes it pays to peel a corner and have a look. Ooh, that's good. Look at that, we peeled out the corners, and I think there's bits in the middle where to drill. Yep. So we'll take them out and done with it. And so there should be marks for lining up this piece. Bed holes. Here we go, see? But I'm being truthful, that saved so much work. Having to cut it out would have been hardship. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the rear bed. We'll put the roof skid to one side, as is not required at the moment. And we've got the two rear pieces, an inner and an outer. I guess that will fit up into the groove. We've got to remove two screws. I think this is universal going back. There's not a direction to it. And now the fun starts part, or the fun part starts. And what I'm going to do is cut it first to separate. I'm going to peel it up a bit and slice off. Now we've got something to grip with. So we're going to I'll tell you what, this is not an easy thing to put on. That's as good as I can get it. So the theory is now we should be able to peel the backing off, and it should self-locate. Take your time with this and make sure you slowly work it up, I'd recommend. There we go, lined up. So in theory we just got to whack some holes in. Definitely not the thing I'm looking forward to. Where's my reamer? Definitely take your time on this part. Nice and central. We'll start the second one. Yep, that's central. Not bad at all. So what size have we got to go up to? 6mm. It says. Well, here we go, up to about 6. I'm going to peel off the masking now, or the thing, because the holes are in place. You can't change them now, so as is. That made sense, didn't it? As is. Look at that. Off. Oh. And now we want to about 6. They're not there yet. I don't know if this has got a... What has this got? You do it near. That might be more than 6. Oh well. Just keep reaming until one of them fits in. Fit. I don't know whether the centre one is slightly different. That's an in. And the final one, right, have we done this correct? Scary moment. What do you think? Good or bad? Let's put the inner frame on. And let's get some screws. Where do we put those screws? Now I found the screws, and yes, I did throw them in the bin. Not the thing you want to do, but now we can put the screws in this bracket and then fit the rear mount again. If the outer two go in, the inner shouldn't be a problem. Famous last words. But not being funny, the bodies should have been fitted with these in the first place. Be careful, there might be two size screws. Yep, there is. I've used the wrong screw and I've dented the thing already. That's back in place. So be careful with the screws, because there wasn't any real instructions with it. And yes, I'm using the wrong ones. So use the short, seems to be. Don't do what I've done. Pick up the wrong screws. That's what the problem is. Be careful, don't put the screws from the bracket in. Let's put that bracket on before I do anything silly again. Yeah, this seems to be a universal bracket, so front and rear, it's just the same bracket. No, the front is different. It's got adjustability. So let's get rid of these wrong screws. I just think every time you fit these, you've got to drill the body. I'm going to make a statement. That is a big chore. That's what's nice about my TRX4 kit, where it had the Explorer body. Came with the headlight and grille parts, but they were all pre-cut, so it was really easy. You just painted it and screwed them on. You didn't have to cut a thing, and they would have been really hard in the rear to cut. Right, so we've got the rear skiddly thing on. Now we've got the top one. We've got this bracket. Which way round it goes, no idea. Have a feeling it will be in that orientation. Had a guess. We got the two skids. So now we've got to put this on, and it says the top of the windscreen you align with. So like last time, I'm going to do it the same way. Flip out those bits to start the holes. But this time, once the holes are started, I will take off the part, because they've got to be big enough for those to go through, that's all. And just like the last, we're going to do some real trimming on this one. There we go. Not taking it tight, but I am taking off the front part. There we go, we've got a little flappy. Thing is, how do you know this is central? Well, that's the best I can see it, because I'm struggling for normal reasons. Can't see the colour of it. But it seems central. Like I said, it's down to how well is that decal put on, and that's not straight, I can tell you that now. But that's as good as I can get it. So let's see if we can get some central holes. A little bit off, a bit towards the rear. And we'll start the second. And I've sent a screw flying, that's good. Yeah, it's not bad. That's free. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That one needs to come back a bit. That's better. That one needs to go that way a bit. That's forwards a bit. Right, the holes are started. And we'll take that, mark that off now. With these, definitely less haste, more speed. So I don't think it hurts if they're just a tad over, because it will give you adjustability. Or that bit a bit hard, but not too hard. Look at that. Yep, in. Tight, so we'll loosen that just. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. That was not fun. That's one on. How were they going to line up with this? Because that must be something to do with the light unit. So I'd say that goes to the front. Got the errant away screw. my last screw. And there we go, there's the roof rubbers. And I think I've got them central, do you? I can't tell with all this patterning and colour. Not good for me, as you know. Colour is a problem. Let's put it back on the chassis and then we'll film it outside in the sun, see what this looks like now. So there's my extremely upgraded Mini Maxx, and I just hope all this money I've invested makes it better. You know, we've now got the centre diff, we've got nice shock absorbers with adjustability, so depending where you're going you can always rip off the springs just before you go and quickly swap them, and you'll be sort of for a sort of having a bit softer if you're going just sort of a really uneven surface, because to be a bit softer it'll be a bit more plush on handling. But I can't knock the kit, I'll be truthful. To have sort of the extra springs, like I said, gives you tunability. That is in. Yeah, it gives you tunability. So you haven't got to go out and buy more springs, you should have pretty much all you need. Like I said, they started off soft. See, it's plush, but I think it needs to be harder. I'll find out if the silver are harder. If they are, I will go over to the silver springs. But this finishes the long video. I will speed it up in places, but it's a long one.